Hello, it's Ms. C here once again to talk about our book for the Treehouse Book Club. The book we're doing for December is called Captain Superlative by J.S. Puller. And I have come prepared, dressed in my superhero cape, because we're going to talk a little bit about how a real life superhero came to be and what this superhero did. So I'm going to read a little bit of the story. I'm doing the prologue, and I'm going to skip a little bit to the introduction of Captain Superlative in the story. We released paper lanterns into the night. They floated toward the moon. I don't know who brought them. None of this was planned. We all just found ourselves in the parking lot of Deerwood Park Middle School, sitting on the hoods of SUVs, our legs sticking to the paint in the heat of an Illinois summer. We watched the lanterns dance and twirl, going higher and higher. They were like a school of skyfish, moving together as one. Captain Superlative would have loved seeing them, and seeing us too. The entire 7th grade class, technically 8th graders, and the top of the food chain now that it was July. Even though she was gone, I heard her voice again. I'm going to be a superhero. I smiled a little bit, imagining that I could feel her warmth and her presence at my side, just behind my shoulder where she liked to stand. The glittering lanterns turned into the glow-in-the-dark stars stuck to the ceiling of her bedroom. I was almost there with her, like a breeze in the air, watching as she sat at the foot of the bed in her pink PJs, her lopsided blue wig on her head like a crown. I'm going to be a superhero. That's how I like to believe it began. Of course, no one knows for sure how it really happened. There were plenty of different versions that popped up over the course of the second semester. They were just stories, though. Half-truths and imaginings, jokes and guesses. They passed from one person to the next, with each listener adding their own special twist to it. Soon the characters, once simple classmates, were bigger than before. Stronger, better, superlative. I think in her case, maybe the word was justified. She earned the right to be called superlative. Janie, a real voice, a voice in the present tense. Paige's voice. I turned to look at her along the line of my shoulder. The light of the lanterns played against the dark planes of her face and across the top of her cornrows. She looked angelic, like a little fairy. It was remarkable how much she'd changed since January. She was an entirely different person now, head held high. But I could see the swollen bags under her eyes, the glistening beneath her nose. She was hurting. I slid down the hood of my dad's car and walked over to Paige. Our arms wrapped around each other's waist, and we turned to watch the lanterns together. I was thinking about her this morning, Paige said, after a few moments of companionable silence. No need to ask who she was talking about. There was only one her. Me too, I said. What about her? Just how it's going to be weird, she said. What? Not seeing her here every day. Yeah, but she wouldn't want us getting all weepy about it. Paige let out a small, breathy laugh. Probably not. You know exactly what she would say. Something about not wasting time being sad when there was work to be done and citizens in need. Exactly. Doors to open and giants to slay. Captain Superlative was so annoyingly set in her ways. Not everyone can just decide who it is they're going to be, especially not at the age of 12. A lot of us need to figure it out over time, and we usually screw it up more than once, more than 5 times, or 10. The road to figuring out who you are is paved with failures, but that's life. I guess you could say I speak from some experience. One particular experience, really. A wild ride that began back in January. Okay, I'm going to skip just a little bit ahead. And then, all right, here we are. It was just passing time between 8th and 9th period. The end of the day was in sight. I was at my locker, my real locker, when I heard April's shrill voice shriek behind me. "She's coming this way." "What?" someone else asked. "Look, she's down the hall." Who was she? I turned around. April was standing 5 feet away from me, talking to one of Dagmar's other soccer team flunkies. Meredith, I supposed. Both she and April would have been thrown off the team long ago, but I was pretty sure that Dagmar was doing their homework. For a second they blocked my view, but then they stepped back. Everyone stepped back. The hallway seemed to just part down the center, everyone pressing up against the banks of red lockers on either side. And that was when I caught the first glimpse of her. She wasn't very tall, probably not even 5 feet, but for some reason she seemed bigger. She filled the space around her. Her hands were on her hips, her chin up, and her chest forward. It was the same sort of classic stance that I saw on the covers of my dad's comic books. Wide and open, completely exposed, unafraid. Probably a good thing, being unafraid, considering the way she was dressed. She wore a bathing suit. It was the beginning of a wet and cold January, and she looked ready for the beach. The shiny silver suit had thick straps joined together by silver rings on top of her shoulders. Under it, she had a pair of bright, almost neon blue tights. There was a hole in the left side near her ankle, a bit of a rip going up the side of her leg that was only partially hidden by a red high-top sneaker. She also wore blue rubber gloves, the kind Dad uses to wash the dishes in the kitchen sink. Draped over her shoulder was a red cape, probably made out of a pillowcase, judging from the way it bunched up behind her neck. Dead silence. I never heard a school hallway that still. Everyone was staring at her. Everyone. Time stopped. I couldn't tell what she was thinking or feeling. A red mask hid her face, the strings of it tied messily behind her head, with strands of the thick neon blue synthetic hair or a wig caught up in the knot. I could see her mouth, though, her lips curling up into a kind of wicked smile. "Who are you?" someone from the crowd asked. I didn't realize at first that it was me. She turned to me. Everyone did. I wanted to shrink against the locker, maybe even pass through it. The heat of so many eyes was a little more than I could take. The wind had been knocked out of my lungs. Fortunately, the moment she spoke, the attention was back on her. "Captain Superlative," she said in a full voice full of confidence and certainty. "Champion of Deerwood Park Middle School, here to defend honor, justice, and the forces of good." She made a broad, sweeping gesture with one arm. "Have no fear, citizens." Both arms went up, fingertips stretched out, pressed together like blades to cut through the air. "Captain Superlative is here to make all troubles disappear." She whipped around and shot down the hall faster than life, like she was flying. Her cape fluttered in the air behind her. An enormous C made of blue felt glued on her back. We stood there in a state of stunned silence, the sort that followed a natural disaster, a tidal wave. Even after she disappeared, we felt her there. It was only the sound of the bell marking the end of the passing period that broke the spell and sent us off in 1,000 directions, like motes of dust, whispering about the outfit, the catchphrase, the name, the strangeness of it all. So that's your introduction to Captain Superlative. I hope you read the book and enjoy it, and find out a little more about Captain Superlative. There will be pages that you can download from our website. There's questions that you can think about while you're reading the book. There's also a fun page to do, or maybe more than one fun page to do related to the story. And I hope you download those and have fun with them. If you are unable to download them, they will be available on our website for you to link there, or you can come to the library and pick up a packet of those activities. Even if we're just doing curbside delivery, all you have to do is come to the library and call and tell them you want the Treehouse Book Club activity for Captain Superlative, and they will bring it right out to you. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy the book. I look forward to bringing another book to you next month, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.